David Pakman has done yet another segment on the Justice Democrats and Kyle Kulinski, because it was another live caller. So this is at least 3 questions now that I've seen, and I've talked about it a bunch of times because I think that it's pretty important. And what he says here really is, and you're going to be seeing that clip here, I mean, we're going to talk about it, but he's going to be talking about saying that, I like Kyle's show, and he doesn't seem to be really too on board with the Justice Democrats. But check out this comment that he made here, and I wanted to talk about that. So check it out, and we're going to talk about it.
I have no problem whatsoever with the idea of trying to move any elected position to the left from where it is. From a practical standpoint, and again, this isn't about Justice Democrats, it's a much more general thing. You have to be pragmatic, consider the circumstances of any particular election, and in a world of limited resources, consider whether it makes more sense to primary Democrats that aren't as liberal as you want versus whether it makes sense to try to replace some Republicans with Democrats. There's no right answer. There's no blanket right answer. I just think that it's perfectly reasonable and actually a smart thing to consider that anytime you're thinking about how to invest resources in elections.
Yeah, I kind of agree, but don't you think we could do both, primary both corporate Democrats and Republicans? Because what's the point of getting a Democratic majority in the House and the Senate if most Democrats are not just the Democrats, essentially progressives, are going to push for Medicare for all, free college, better infrastructure, and whatnot?
Right. Yeah. No. Your question's a good one, which is why can't we do both? And we sort of can, but again, there's a limited amount of money and volunteer hours that are going to go into elections. So if we were in a world that was not zero sum, where you could just say, well, we can do everything within every campaign. We will primary every Democrat that's not as left-wing as we want, and we will try to take over every Republican seat. Sure, it's just not the real world, right? We do live in a world of limited financial and sort of labor hour resources for any particular election. So we have to sort of operate in the real world. Does that make sense?
All right, so basically what David Pakman is saying is, while I definitely want these, whether it's, a Joe Manchin type of fella or, a Kamala Harris or anyone else like that, we want to make them move more left, or just the issues in general and the stances that people have. Is it more beneficial to take resources, take money, and put it into primarying Democrats, or is it better to basically take all of those funds in action and put it into the Democrat and then try to take over a Republican seat? There's a few things I have to say about that, and like you said, there's no right or wrong answer, but this is my opinion, and let me know what you guys think about this. So first of all, what I'd like to say is, for example, one of my points is that for something like Justice Democrats, the support, the funding, and the actions that you get from that, not all those people are going to take that and do that for, trying to get in, corporate Democrats or any kind of centrist Democrats. So those people wouldn't be helping if it weren't, if this organization didn't exist. Now, when it comes to, getting Democrats to the left, when can you say that, okay, now it's time, once we have all the seats? But wouldn't, by your logic, it kind of make the seats more vulnerable, and you wouldn't really be down for that either? And also, I think that Jon Ossoff was a very good case of where you had fuckloads of money just funneled in. I think it was over $1 million, and most of it was from out of state. Oh, get out of here. Most of it was out of state. Vast majority of it. And he still loses. So it's like, his opponent said that she doesn't believe in a living wage. So, this is crazy. So, no, this funneling, massive resources just into a Democrat is not going to win. And, we saw the Alabama mayor race. There was a mayor race. I think it was in one of the cities in Alabama. I can't remember where it was exactly. But a Bernie crowd had won there. I believe it was an Our Revolution backed candidate. And those are the kind of things that we need. So my point is that funneling the resources into this corporate Democrat, centrist Democrat, is not going to work. What will work is if you primary the Democrats, then they will win if you continue the funding for them. So I think that David Pakman not really all that into Justice Democrats, and I'm trying to give my 2 cents on this. Support independent progressive media by leaving a subscription down below. Leave a like and share the video. Help us out on Patreon, or you can donate in other ways. Links are in the description down below. We are fighting Trump tooth and nail, and we will continue to do so with your help.